It's Charlie taking on the Rich brothers to create a tropical-inspired garden.
So here we have Christopher, we've got Miriam, and we've got their daughter Abigail. They used to live in Indonesia. Oh. They've moved back for Abigail's education, so they've now got a garden in Malvern, which is a very pretty town.
Malvern's lovely.
But... there it is.
Oh, concrete jungle.
I
know. Well, there's very little vegetation. It's full of concrete.
It's just very one-dimensional.
Different levels that, prone to tripping over, falling over. Not very pleasant to walk around. And actually quite depressing to look at.
We bought the house in 2017. And then we threw all our energies into gutting it and painting it and spending all the time inside. And we were able to ignore out here, really, weren't we?
Because it was dark.
And then as the summer kicked in and the weather got nicer,
and then we realised we needed something to be done about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tricky one to design. But coming from Indonesia, they want something that's quite tropical, lush, green.
Away from being in Indonesia and being here in every sense. Where you have the climate, you're just outside constantly. Everything is bigger and brighter, and the colours are more vibrant.
Yes.
Miriam has asked for a magnolia tree, but Christopher doesn't know where it wants to go, and I don't think he really wants to dig the tree in. So.
I can see that.
A couple of years ago for Mother's Day, I was promised a magnolia tree, and
you can still have your magnolia.
I can have my magnolia tree. So after a good 2 to 3 year waiting for this tree, I am determined to get my beautiful magnolia tree in.
Go on then, tell us about the budget.
So the budget is £3,000.
This one's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
To make it not look like a concrete jungle.
And to get a bit of Indonesia in there.
To see how best to tackle the garden, Charlie and the Rich brothers head to Malvern in Rustica for a closer look.
It looks just like the pictures, concrete everywhere.
That is a shame, really, isn't it? I mean, where do you start? I mean, it's one thing to tackle a garden, but secondly to tackle a car park, isn't it? But it would be nice to feel a bit more private.
Yeah,
it
feels very exposed at the moment. So, well, I hope you get a bit more inspiration inside than I got out here.
I was going for the door, but
it's
must be the other side.
Round there.
Is there a door here?
It's strange, isn't it? We've not had a garden where so you look out on it, but you don't come out.
Sure, they're not a family of firefighters and they just slide down the pole. Come on, Sam. That is one bold colour. Oh, wow. That is lovely to see. Isn't it nice to have a bit of vibrant colour instead of dull grey? Yeah, it's nice because everything else is quite muted, but these walls pack a punch. Fantastic. Beautiful, quite tropical aqua blue, maybe. Could well be. Beach vibes continuing through this, look at that. That looks really comfy, doesn't it? I mean, you can almost imagine, that being on the beach, sitting down, relaxing with a nice drink. And that's maybe why they've gone for blue. Maybe they're missing the sea. They're missing Indonesia a little bit, aren't they? I like that. It'd be nice to get some colour in there.
Miriam! Chris! You obviously use the garden, though.
We try to.
Why do you sit here?
The sunshine.
Yeah,
right,
we get the evening sun here. So yeah, this is predominantly where we would want to entertain or just sit and enjoy the garden.
A bit more intimate.
Yes.
Yeah, and possibly some screening so that we don't feel that we're being
watching while you're eating.
While you're having a barbecue. Yeah, right.
You've made green jungle to concrete jungle.
Concrete jungle, yes, pretty much in a nutshell. Yeah.
So what type of thing do you want from the garden?
A nod to where we were in Indonesia would be nice.
So nice to see the plants as well. I mean, look at this. Definitely getting a tropical vibe, aren't we, off this foliage? Look at that guy. Beautiful. Nice large foliage, lots of green. Yeah, I think that's important with the garden. To have a nice luscious planting scheme would be a really nice way of mixing with this like jungle kind of feeling as well.
Maintenance-wise?
Low maintenance.
Maintenance-wise, we want to enjoy it. I don't want to feel like, oh, crikey, I need to go out and do it. So, so somewhere we can potter, we can tend to some veggies, maybe herb garden, something that Abigail, our daughter, can start to feel a sense of ownership of.
Now, we obviously can't give them Indonesia, but I think it's that atmosphere, isn't it? It's that calm, relaxing, almost holiday atmosphere. Like down here, that's Abigail just chilling on the most beautiful beach ever. So I think it's all about creating a really interesting space for her. As she grows up, she can learn how to grow vegetables, relax with friends, have dinners outside as a family. Yeah, it's having her own little outdoor escape, isn't it? As much as this is for Mum and Dad, it's definitely for her as well.
Are there anything else you really would like to see in the garden?
I like clean lines and sort of minimalistic, but not bare.
Right. Lawn?
Rather not have lawn.
No lawn?
No lawn.
There's a definite no there.
No. Don't really enjoy it. Probably blame my parents for having to mow the garden as a child every weekend.
Okay. So we're basically saying maintenance low, some veg and an area for maybe Abigail to explore and dig around. But other than that,
we're quite easygoing.
Okay. It's going to be very exciting to find out what's underneath.
Yes.
Yes.
More concrete, I expect.
Yeah.
Having shared the new information from the visit, the designers get to work, crafting an inviting garden with a nod to Indonesia. Each of them will come up with a plan for Christopher and Miriam that works within their budget. The couple will then choose their favourite, and whichever designer loses will help the winner build the garden. The £3,000 budget will be spent on materials, while Charlie and the Rich Brothers, along with a team of landscapers, provide the labour for free. Back in Malvern, it's time for the pitch.
Hello!
Hello. Hello.
So,
Oh, that's pretty.
Yes.
I have divided zone here. An area for Abigail to grow her veg, and then into this area here, which is a nice shady, woodlandy bit.
We know that you wanted to have a garden that you can actually spend time out in and enjoy actually spending that time out in as well. Somewhere that was going to get rid of the massive concrete. We're getting in lots of trees, shrubs, lots of plants, so we're trying to fill this garden with greenery. Got areas for produce, areas for fun. So overall, it's just a nice family garden in which you can actually spend time out enjoying.
Like it?
So, 2 zoned family gardens that both replace the dreaded concrete with lush planting and produce. It'll come down to the details, starting with the couple's favourite hotspot at the back of the garden.
The main area of this garden is the raised deck here. So it's somewhere that you can wander to, you step up onto, and you also feel quite private and secluded. And because it's timber, it'll have that lovely warmth, more like an indoor feeling.
Yeah.
And then because this is raised up, you can actually sink a couple of planting beds in there. And at the back here, then we'd have a raised bed as well, with things like bamboo. It's going to give a nice tall screen, nice and green, make lovely sounds in the wind, and evergreen as well for the season. So that's really key.
This area here is the main entertainment area with a built-in seat and a big raised bed here to get some height into the garden.
Okay.
And also planted through this deck a big tree here to give a bit of height.
Okay.
This along here is a bespoke screen, so not a piece of trellis.
Right.
We're going to do it with planks of wood and then put onto that some Indonesian designs, keeping it very subtle, not bright colours, but then grow the evergreen jasmine round here.
Yeah.
So this bit will be really intimate.
Charlie's on a similar wavelength to the Rich Brothers with the decking. Her bespoke screen is a clever nod to Indonesia. But what have the Rich Brothers got up their sleeve?
We thought it'd be quite cool. We were going to put some just quite funky coloured tiles on the riser there of that deck.
Yes.
We thought it almost feels like a little bit of a courtyard area, possibly. Just has nice little colours, something slightly reminiscent of Indonesia, maybe.
As well as a Southeast Asian feel, Miriam and Christopher also want a garden that daughter Abigail could enjoy. So what have our designers come up with?
This area here is going to be the Veg Bed area. So Abigail wanted
Yeah.
to go here, wanted to be growing veg. We wanted to put a little chalkboard up on the wall.
Oh, cute.
So maybe Abigail can write down what she's growing.
Yeah.
And then also here we've got a weave and a framework to grow things up, like
Yeah.
some peas or something like that.
Okay.
It could be really fun.
An area for Abigail to grow her veg and flowers, so whether it's carrots and basil and garlic, but also poppies and sunflowers, lots of things that she can really sort of grow right from scratch. I have put a little frog pond in. I think it'll be great for Abigail because you will get dragonflies, you'll get frogs.
Both plans have veg patches for Abigail. But will Christopher and Miriam prefer a water feature to a wigwam? Currently, there's no soil in the garden, let alone plants. So, what schemes have our designers gone for?
Lots of planting, big sort of bold foliage planting along here, which will screen off your neighbours.
Yeah.
So this area totally will be surrounding you and sort of almost hugging you, full of scent, and lots of green, because I find green's a nice calm colour.
So the planting within the garden we want to keep quite bold, quite luscious. So green is going to be a very important colour, just because, you know, there's so much grey. But then we can just flood it with things like Persicaria and Astrantia, which have a lovely white flower. Just things that really have a little pop of colour.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple of peas, maybe quite nice.
And talking of plants, what about Miriam's missing Mother's Day magnolia?
This here is the feature magnolia. So in the spring you'll get the gorgeous flowers, but come the summertime you'll get those big, sort of luscious green leaves.
So we wanted the trees to continue down into this area. We love the idea of putting a magnolia tree in because we know that you'd like that. So
Yeah,
we
I'm owed one.
Yeah, you're owed one.
She's owned, actually, his own one. Yes.
That's a lovely position for it because it's just going to be a real statement tree.
Goodness.
Yes.
I will leave you
to
thinking.
think about.
There's a lot to think about.
Wonderful, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
The pitches are over. It's going to be a tough choice for Miriam and Christopher, as only one of these Indonesian-inspired gardens can win.
Should we start with Charlie's garden then?
Yeah, let's have a look at this one. I think it's very pretty. I think that the use of colour is very nice.
Wooden decking, of course, as well.
And I also like the plants going around the pond as well.
Right. The Rich Brothers.
So what do you think, Abigail? What are you immediately drawn to?
What do you like?
So like these chairs are like hidden behind the trees.
We went for two slightly different things, but something we didn't really ask for. We've got a nice little wigwam in the corner, so she's got a little place to be, and then also a chalkboard so you can note down what she's growing.
And did you get any sort of Indian?
A few tiles, some colourful tiles on the riser of our raised deck, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
And then we've got two different seating
I
areas.
also quite like that.
Oh, the tiles. Yeah, that is a nice touch.
Well, how would you tackle the big concrete? You're not taking any of that up or anything?
No, deck straight
Yeah,
over the top.
exactly. So
So-
actually, it makes sense building up with the big decks like we've done.
Yeah.
That seems to make sense if we've both done it. Yeah.
It's actually quite tricky because they're both very similar.
Same similar plants.
They've both got the veggie patches. They've both made the most of the sun and the sitting area, and also having sort of bamboos and magnolias and jasmines and the plants that we like.
I'm glad to find out now. Here they come. Hello.
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 Right.
So it has been a lot harder in reality than you kind of think it ever will be. But we've made a decision. Abigail's thrown in her opinion.
Yes.
And our decision is this one.
Hey! Woo, good choice. I think it was. So, how come you chose ours then, guys?
We chose yours with the help of Abigail. The fact that the teepee, the blackboard,
We like the zones,
the zones.
didn't we?
Yeah, we think this will look very good in our concrete jungle.
It'll definitely make a difference,
It
won't
will.
it?
It'll be nice to get some greenery
Yeah.
into the garden, won't it?
Absolutely.
And don't forget your magnolia tree.
No.
Waiting for.
No, 3 years waiting.
We can't forget it now. We'll take, oh no!
Yeah, don't leave that one.
It's a great result for the Rich brothers, but they'll need Charlie's help to transform this patchwork of concrete into a tropical paradise for all the family to enjoy. Project manager Andy, along with his trusty team Gruff, Ben and Colin, are up bright and early to begin the build.
Right, what we got here then? Oh my goodness. That is proper concrete, isn't it?
There's a lot of it.
Where's the garden? Oh, look at this though. We've got a board table. Amazing.
First item on the agenda, a new fence on the right-hand side that's already in.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. So lucky for us, the boys made the right decision, and we're not going to take all the concrete out. Most of it, what we're going to do is just build on top. So, but that is still a pretty big job. We've got a large deck going here, 20 odd square metres of deck. Really nice, entertaining family space. Sort of taking a bit of concrete out, but not the whole garden. And then over there, we've got a couple of productive beds, veg beds, and a little teepee for their daughter. So, on this garden, we've got to maximise productivity and profit. And if not, you're fired. Let's make it happen.
And so, as building materials are moved in, and the couple's garden furniture is moved out, the all-important job of marking out begins.
Yeah, it's on. This just needs to come over a bit. We'll have to pivot from this end.
At this stage, it's worth putting a little bit extra time in, just to make sure that we're really clear that we're getting this set out properly. To save us so much time later. If we get any of this wrong, we're going to have to be undoing things and redoing. How is it going?
Yeah, we're just working out the space for the table and chairs.
D for deck. Let's actually build something, shall we?
Colin starts with the blockwork to support the large area of decking that the Rich brothers have planned for the back of the garden. It's deceptively precise work.
Oh, looking good.
Even a small error at this stage could have a huge impact on the overall look. Requiring slightly less finesse, Gruff is screwing together chunky planks for the raised planting beds at the far end of the decking, whilst most of the concrete will be covered by the new deck. A few areas at the front of the garden are being ripped up to make room for small planting beds nestled amongst the gravel.
Effectively, all this bit in here is going to be planting. We're going to get all this concrete out.
Also being uncovered to the left of the garden is Abigail's play zone, featuring a rustic wooden teepee, chalkboard and veg beds.
I am a teepee, and these are my rods. Yeah, so basically it's going to be sort of a little plaything in here, a little door maybe, weaved, willow, hazel and birch poles. So this bit on the floor needs to be bark.
A layer of bark chippings makes a decorative and, more importantly, safe surface for Abigail to play. The large decked area is coming along. Brothers have specified that the planks for the decking are fitted smooth side up to create a sleek contemporary look. Charlie and the Rich brothers have arrived.
Well, I think we've lucked out. Today is glorious. A nice sunny day in Malvern. Charlie, do you know what you're on today?
I have no idea.
Strapline, working hard.
Okay.
That's all you need to know. You won't be stopping. Not even for a tea break. Now, you're going to be making a hazel teepee.
Is that like a den for Abigail?
Yes, a nice little area just for her.
And you guys, what are you doing?
Tiles, we've got some nice fancy tiles to go on. And then also, that large deck isn't going to build itself.
Okay. I wonder what the garden looks like.
I know, trees. So.
Whoa! Now that's some concrete, isn't it?
They found soil?
Yippee!
Right, that's your corner. Beforehand, it was just this massive concrete, different levels, no back door. This is the entrance into the garden, so this needs to look grand. Very imposing, doesn't it? Yeah. Fantastic. So, informalise this area with pockets actually dug down into the concrete. Whereas over here, we've actually created a bit more formality, created a nice focus by implementing a very large deck. Now, it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Lovely, yeah.
Now, this area on the design, we originally had the large table and benches, but we thought actually, underneath the shade, the canopy of the trees and the shrubs, it'd be nice to have the bistro table and actually on the large deck have the large dining area. Make that the focus of this space where they'll spend a lot of their time. Now, it's looking absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So the deck looks large at the moment, but the one way we're going to break that up and make it feel cosy is to introduce pockets of planting.
And we've got a gorgeous long raised bed at the back there. That'll be filled with some gorgeous plants, and of course those plants are going to be creating an Indonesian vibe within the garden.
Yeah.
And this area will have some lovely raised veg beds and Abigail's play area. So it's going to be...
You spotted Charlie?
Where is Charlie?
I'm
Behind
finished. I think Abigail's area looks gorgeous. I've gone for the Indonesian jungle theme.
Nice.
I've got the scent of the jasmine that will waft over, so I'm done and dusted.
I think that scent's gone to your head, to be honest, Charlie.
With the decking well underway, it's time for an all-important Indonesian touch.
Now, Miriam and Christopher used to live in Indonesia. They spent 15 years over there. So it was really important for us to be able to put a little bit of that into this garden. But we wanted to add some tiles, a nice pop of colour into the garden. Very synonymous with warmer country, vibrant, colourful tiles. But we wanted to keep it slightly muted. And the reason we've chosen blues and whites is because they're the colours that we picked up inside their home. They love blue. Now we're going to pick up the blue with some plants as well, so it is tied into the whole space. Now these are being made to look distressed, which I think adds a nice bit of character to it. Looks pretty cool, and I just like the unity of colour and pattern as well. Now something like this is going to cost you about £30 a square metre, which I think is a fantastic value. For that permanent bit of colour, lovely bit of pattern, and it's making a great feature of what would otherwise be something quite plain in the garden. Right. Let me get involved. What are we doing?
Carry on, Tyler, right across the front there, and I'll get this step finished.
While David gets stuck into the tiling, Harry's inspecting Ben and Gruff's handiwork on the decking.
When we all first arrived to look around the garden, all we saw was this mass of concrete everywhere, and it's quite difficult to try and tackle that. So we wanted to create a large deck because we wanted it to be quite an ample space to fit their large dining table on and really create a nice social environment. But the key to having this area up here is to actually break it up with planting beds. As soon as you bring shrubs and plants into it, it's really going to transform this space and create a really luscious green space to be in.
Harry, mate.
Yeah.
Can I use that board?
Yeah, I'm helping now, so...
I know it makes a fantastic scene.
It does, doesn't it?
Good work to do.
Oh, tiles going on. I love those tiles. Decks going down.
With the Rich brothers hard at it, Charlie's got a novel idea.
We're not making it fun, Charlie.
Yeah,
It's
just
not
here.
fun.
Look, do you know what this garden's missing? A lovely water feature.
Go on then, we'll do it just for you, Charlie.
Just for me, yeah. No, it's not. There is some method in my madness, so we're just going to vaguely line that. It's all right, I'll get the water.
You're not joking.
I'm not joking.
I'm going to quickly pierce it now. Just
No,
so it's,
do not pierce it. I will be after you, matey.
What's happened?
Charlie's making a paddling pool for us.
Oh, nice.
So you're not seriously making a water feature, are you?
I am.
You gone mad?
The heat is getting to all of us, but especially Charlie.
Oh, well, that's where we're putting the ice for the drinks, is it?
Wait.
I think she has. I think the heat's got to her.
I need to soak my withies so they're bendy for the wigwam.
Oh, ideal.
So we can soak those and we can sit down and have a cup of tea with our feet in the water. That would cool everyone down.
For Abigail's teepee, Charlie plans to use thick hazel poles and weave between them these thin willow withies. But to make them
Actually quite tall, they're about 5 foot, almost 6 foot. So finding something to soak them in was a bit difficult. I did think about using Miriam and Christopher's bath, but it's quite nice and posh in there, and I think they would have been overly pleased. So this handy planting bed is ideal.
we are, nearly the last one going on. Very satisfying job, and it's looking great.
As well as the teepee, Charlie and Harry are making a chalkboard for Abigail's play area.
Voila.
Made from plywood, sanded, primed and then covered with blackboard paint, it'll be a simple yet striking addition.
Done.
And to smarten it up, Charlie and Colin are fashioning a frame.
Oh, your secret screwing. Hold on. The box will be all right.
They're using offcuts from the decking to create a uniform look. The Rich brothers spent more than £750 on the boards for the large deck.
Well, it's taking shape, and the guys are doing a cracking job. And what's so lovely is that they've been laid full length. And we're very lucky because we've got some large planks. They're 4.2 metre long. If they're shorter, you have more joins, and therefore it looks a little bit more messy. So when you can, and you've got an open space, it's about using full length planks. The longer they are, the more they tend to have a few bends in them. So all I'm doing is I'm working my way along the decking with this chisel, just pushing them and using spacers like these, putting them in the gaps, pushing the plank towards it, and that tightens up the gap and keeps it lovely and narrow all the way along, so it has a really seamless look.
Time for Charlie to retrieve her willow.
Ideal. So, if I can take those out then, because you want plants in here, really, don't you?
I think so.
Not a water feature.
As much as you've tried.
As much as I tried to convince you. Right, so we can take those out, and if I wrap them up in the polythene...
That's how it burns out. We take the whole thing out. Oh, that was quite nice, actually.
I did not get the water out.
Get
Just remember how many canes I've got. Right then. Well, after that hilarity.
Right, we'll get them out, shall we? Dry yourself off.
With the withy soaked, Harry and David can lie in their raised beds.
Hold on, sorry, boss. Gimme. All right.
But before Charlie can get weaving, she must first build the frame for the teepee.
That's once you got the three up, you're fine then. Harry wanted me to have the entranceway sort of facing there, so I just work them round, and it'll make a nice little den for Abigail. She might want to grow some hanging basket plants on it. She might want to make some art and crafts to tie on it. But it's quite nice giving a child their own little bit that they can do what they want with.
Screwing in cross beams adds strength to the structure. The Rich brothers spent around £70 on hazel poles and willow withies.
It's not your traditional teepee weaving, I have to say. This is the woven variety. Artistic and rustic.
Harry smells like what?
Harry?
Yeah?
You see what David's written on the blackboard about you?
He'd never do that. It's not his handwriting either.
It's not his handwriting.
It's a bit too manly.
With the beds ready, the Rich brothers can get on with the planting.
Lovely. A few more of them.
They spent more than £700 on a range of tropical trees and shrubs to add that all-important Indonesian feel.
I mean, that looks amazing from here.
Well, we've got some beautiful sumacs in this garden, and straight away it gives this beautiful character. It's very lush. It grows quite tall and upright with a lovely openness to it. It grows about 5 meters tall, so it's not going to completely dominate this space. But what it does is it creates that canopy. And we've positioned two next to each other, almost creating this tunnel that you've got to walk through to get to the table and chairs. Now, the sumac is known for its autumn colour and reds, and I think it's just such a spectacle and such an amazing sight to see. The sumac does have a beautiful, very delicate yellow flower. It's almost like a plume that just kind of highlighted amongst the green canopy. And later on in the season then, it turns to this deep, dark red kind of seed pod. And that is very distinctive and adds quite an exotic touch.
At the back of the decked area, David's adding another Asian favourite.
Nice. Now beforehand, this garden really wasn't a nice place to sit out and be. Now, not only to do with the massive concrete slabs, but it was quite a lot to do with the fact that there was no privacy in this space whatsoever. There was no height. When you're sitting in the garden, your eye wanders out over to the other neighbours. Now, that's the reason we're planting this bamboo hedge. Now, we're using bamboo nigra, known as like black bamboo. And that's because of the stems here. Now, when they start off nice and young and flexible, they're green. And then as they mature, they go brown, and then the oldest stems there are jet black. So that looks really cool, and definitely links with this Indonesian vibe. But it makes a fantastic hedge as well. Now it's evergreen, grows to about 5 meters tall, grows really fast as well, so that instant screen is perfect. Now the only problem that you have with bamboos is that they spread. That's exactly why we put them in their own contained raised bed. So we have no problem with that throughout the garden.
And there's one extra tree that's taking pride of place at the front of the garden. Miriam's long-awaited magnolia.
Miriam has been promised a magnolia tree now for some years, so it's lovely to be able to plant one for her. This is the Tulip Magnolia, Rustica Rubra, and it has some beautiful attributes. First of all, it has a very oversized pink-white flower that's scented. It's got a really lovely open structure to it, and we've left room at the front of the garden so it can really reach out and create a gorgeous canopy. But I think for me, it's just very simple. It has a lovely display of flowers early on in the spring, and I think that Miriam's going to be really pleased now she has it in the garden.
Abigail's corner of the garden is coming on nicely, and Charlie's creating a quirky wood chime with natural materials and trinkets. The raised beds are made ready for the veg, including lettuce, edible flowers like nasturtiums and curry plants. The Rich brothers fill the beds at the front of the garden with flowers.
In this plant, some dark purples. Kept the selection of them and the palette very simple. The key to when you have flowers with similar colours is to have flowers with different forms. The Achillea has a very flat top to it. The Persicaria, that lovely pink kind of spire, and the kind of dot of the Astrantia all work really well together.
Now the tiles have finished off and they're looking fantastic. Definitely portraying that Indonesian character that Miriam and Christopher wanted. We've chosen a few plants throughout the garden to pick up on the blues and the whites, and one of them in front of me there is mallow, and you can definitely see with the deep kind of purpley blue veins of the petals and the white outsides definitely picks up on these colours really nicely. Now it's a fantastic perennial. It grows really fast and it has a long flowering period from June all the way through to September, so you get this really great show of vibrant colour.
Rich brothers spent nearly £400 on colourful flowers, herbs and vegetables. With the planting over, the garden is almost ready. The last of the hard landscaping is complete. The family's table is placed on the large new deck. And with that, this Indonesia-inspired family garden is finished.
It no longer looks like a car park. That's a result.
Yeah, and the tiles, they work quite well.
I think the tiles do a surprising amount, actually, to create that Indonesian mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. No, I think it really will transport them.
Look at that TP.
Yeah.
I love it.
Chime the bells.
Beautiful.
Help you relax.
Um,
Yeah, it is that type of thing, isn't it? Very tranquil.
I feel
sounds.
relaxed now.
Yeah,
It's what you do.
I think the barbecue might be lit tonight.
Yeah, nice.
Don't blame them. It's been such a great day.
That's been really great.
Right, well, let's go get them. See what they say.
When the team arrived, this garden was little more than a concrete jungle. After a £3,000 makeover, it's been transformed into an Indonesian-inspired idyll. A large decked area for entertaining, filled with lush tropical plants and edged with colourful tiles, add the Asian atmosphere Miriam and Christopher were looking for. And of course, the long-awaited Magnolia Tree for Miriam. Time to reveal this stylish new garden to Miriam, Christopher and Abigail.
If you'd like to open your eyes.
Goodness me.
Do you like it? Yeah.
What a transformation.
Spectacular.
Look at those tiles.
Nice.
I love the tiles.
It's quite different,
It's
isn't it?
stunning.
Very different.
Absolutely stunning.
The tiles make the garden for me. They're sort of quite intricate but subtle at the same time.
Where's my garden gone? My old garden.
But it wasn't a garden.
It wasn't a garden.
Oh my days, it really is quite
Different.
stunning.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, we
it
love
is.
it. We think it's fantastic.
It's a beautiful space,
It's nice having the colour green in here, isn't it?
isn't it, Jess? It makes it feel a lot bigger.
Where would you like to go, Abigail? You got your eye in the corner. Charlie's area.
Abigail spotted the wigwam and the blackboard.
Does it feel like it has a little Indonesian character?
Yeah, it does. There's some, the bamboos at the back. Yeah, the way that the wind is catching it is lovely.
It has got that sort of jungly feel. Lots of greenery with the odd splash of colour.
We've got sweet shrub there with the gorgeous
Yeah, that's
flowers.
really pretty.
And then, just there, that's your magnolia.
Hi.
We'll go have a look at it.
Yeah, that's
There it is, the long-awaited.
it's a beauty.
Got there eventually.
When will it flower?
So it's early on, it's already flowered.
Yeah.
So it'll be April, May time.
Okay.
And then where you see the planting beds now, we've broken all the concrete below that.
Right, okay.
So you've actually got planting on the lower level, and obviously building up with a deck, you put it on the top level. So it kind of helps to unite the whole space.
Having sorted out all the levels, the garden now looks very user-friendly.
So it's the same spot, but it feels a little bit different now.
It does.
Yes.
It feels, a pleasurable sit in the sun.
And a bit more private.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Pass through the trees, you can touch them if you like. Speak to them.
And we'll have a chat with them
Name
later.
them, yeah, you could do. So we've started you off with loads of produce.
Nice.
There, guys. So we've got lettuces there. We've got curry plant. Give
Smell
that
that.
a rub and a sniff.
Lovely.
What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
As Charlie
so cool.
smashed your little teepee, she did the
Yeah.
best job
The
ever.
teepee. Oh, that's super sweet.
Nice. Can you see yourself spending time in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon we'll get a couple of pillows and some scatter cushions and you'll be away,
Nice.
won't you?
I think that the teepee is a hit.
Very ornamental teepee. Wonderful.
Oh, it is beautiful. Look, you've got your little flower bed as well, Abigail.
A little bit of room to put anything else you'd like to. But otherwise,
Yeah.
it's just a really fun interactive
It's
area.
lovely. Absolutely stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
So bearing in mind that beforehand, this garden wasn't really a garden.
No, not
It was a car park, wasn't it? Do you feel like now it's given you everything you wanted?
Yeah.
Yeah?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think it's exceeded our expectations. And it just a little nod to Indo with the bamboo and yeah, it's lovely. It's very, very peaceful.
Right, guys, I think we should transport ourselves onto the evening sun deck and we'll get Charlie and the team
Yeah.
around. Hey!
no longer feels like a car park.
No.
No,
Gone.
it's far from
from
a
it.
car park. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you so much for all of your hard work and giving us a garden and a space that we can sit and enjoy. Thank you. Thank you.
Glad you like it.
Love it.
Thank you so much.
Miriam, Christopher and Abigail are left alone to reflect on their new Indonesian-inspired family garden.
It's exceeded all of our expectations, I think.
Definitely. More than.
Yeah, we knew that it was going to be a contrast to what we had before.
It's amazing.
It is. It's
I love it.
beautiful. Yeah, absolutely stunning.